sort of safe. Whoops.
It's good. You're
Okay,
right.
I was like, oops, did I touch something? I shouldn't have. If I would come and do a safety presentation to you all concerning the work that you do as realtors, and real estate agents. So if you would bear with me, I'm not sure, I'm thinking I can just hit enter and get it to, there we go, okay. So, I have this presentation, and what I want to discuss is things that I think we sometimes take for granted when we are dealing with our everyday job, especially if you get into a routine and you do the same thing over and over and over again, which you may be showing different homes, you may be meeting different people, but the truth of the matter is you kind of get into a routine and do things over and over and over again. And that repetitive nature of your job can sometimes result in you being a little complacent about your safety, okay? So we're going to try to minimize the risk that you all take, get you to think about some of the things you do that you don't really think about. We're going to address tips for your personal safety and environmental safety, because there's some things you don't think about, but you're out in the community all of the time. And there are things that you have no control over, some things you don't even go look at beforehand. So you may be surprised by some of the things. And we're going to talk about that and what you can do. So everybody deserves a safe and secure place that you work, all right? It's important that you're vigilant about protecting your well-being and the overall well-being of your coworkers and those whom you come into contact with. With that said, you all are unique in that in the real estate arena, meeting strangers is a necessary circumstance of you conducting business. Okay, you've got one of the rare occupations where you measure success by the number of strangers you can encounter in a set period of time in order for you to make a sale or rent a unit or whatever it is that your goal is. Okay, you actually seek out strangers. So the block of instruction I'm going to do is to ask you to focus as real estate professionals on balancing the need to engage with strangers, that's the at-risk behavior, with the need to remain safe while you're conducting business. Okay, so some of the things that I'm going to say to you today, you're going to look at me and be like, that's common sense. We all do it. But you'd be surprised how many times you take it for granted. And when I'm saying them to you, you're going to say to yourself, you know what, I do that. Or I don't do that. What was I thinking? You know, and then I always tell people it's that there but for the grace of God. Okay. So just a few terms to get out of the way. Assault is the illegal act of causing physical harm or unwanted physical touching to another person. So believe it or not, someone touching you, pushing you, that is a form of assault. Smaller misdemeanor type, yeah, that, there you go. Form of assault. Okay. Officer. Okay. You just get it from both sides, aren't you? Crime prevention is the attempt to reduce and deter crime and criminals. Now, I always tell people crime prevention is a misnomer. If I knew how to prevent crime, I would bottle it, sell it, and I wouldn't have to work every day for the city. The truth of the matter is, you don't prevent crime. What you do is you make yourself less of a victim target. You make people say, criminals, they're going out to commit crimes today, but I want them to look at me and say, that's not the target that I want to have. I need to go somewhere else, because they're going to do it. People who wake up and say, I'm going to break in homes today, unless they stand in the middle of the roadway and flag down an officer and say, yo, you might want to take me in because I've broken into a couple of homes and I was planning to do another 10 or 12. Otherwise, we don't catch them, okay? Danger is the possibility of suffering harm or injury. And people measure danger based on the amount of harm or the degree of injury that they suffer. And being safe is the condition of being protected from or unlikely to cause danger, risk, or injury. I don't know what that last bullet is under there because I can't see it.
I think we can move it.
Okay, can we move the, yeah, because I don't know what my last bullet was.
Yeah, 1 second here.
That's what we want to do. Okay. So that's all we want to know. That was all right.
And if we can't see it, hopefully you can see it. I just can't see it.
Trying to pull it down here.
Right. Oh, strangers.
There you go.
Yeah, I can see enough of it to know what it says.
No, it
And strangers is a person with whom one is not familiar with or you don't do a lot of business with, okay? Not people who act strange, but actual people that you're not familiar with. There is a difference, okay? Okay, so, okay, now it's not letting me change it again. Let me see. There you go, yeah. So property managers, individual or other entity that is hired for the purpose of overseeing and managing daily operations of properties. I know some of you, I've understood that you cross over and bleed over into that. Or it's just that you're acting on behalf of an owner to either sell a property, preserve the value of the property, try to generate income for the owner. I looked up realtor because I was told there's a difference between a realtor and a real estate agent. And I was like, okay, and I understand you're very passionate about the difference. So with that said, according to the dictionary, a realtor is a person who acts as an agent for the sale and purchase of buildings and land, in particular, a member of the National Association of Realtors. Okay, that's it. All right, here we go. I was like, I guess that's the difference in calling somebody a cock and a pig, right? There's got a difference. So, who's at risk? So these are some of the statistics I want you to think about, okay? US Bureau of Labor and Statistics, 23 real estate related professionals died from violence on the job in 2022. Died from some type of violence on the job. That same year, we had 61 law enforcement officers feloniously killed in the same time period. So a third, your job had a third of the, that can't be me, I turned mine off. So a third had the same deaths, same time period. I know, thought it was you, no, it's me. Okay, in 2022, a survey conducted by the National Association of Realtors revealed that 2% of residential real estate agents were victims of a crime while on the job. You think that's a small percentage until you realize that means 30,000 out of 1.5 million member agents. You were either the victim of a robbery, physical, or sexual assault. Yeah, you think 2%, well, that ain't bad. But you have 1.5 million members in that association, so that means 2% is 30,000 different agents. That was in 2022. Right, think about the people who aren't.
Well, we also have a lot of members in our association that are just members. They're not actively doing the job.
Oh, okay, but at
So
some
that
point,
makes that number even more
larger.
shocking just
Right.
because of the number that are actually doing.
they're
the
actually
job.
out versus who just joined and paid their dues.
Right.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
That same survey revealed that 23% of the respondents to the survey reported feeling concern for their safety while they were working for some reason. So you're not walking around just dippity doo dah, let me go get this money, I'm fine. People are actually concerned about being safe while they're out doing the job that you do. So this was in Las Vegas. A suspect entered this house. I don't know if it'll play. No, it didn't. So the one before, it was a video. And so let me tell you what happened. Lady had a open house. It wasn't, she made an appointment with a person that she could identify. She had an open house. A gentleman came in and they just said her sixth sense, just something about him. He came almost near the end of the period. And as he was walking through and she was showing him things, she noticed he was locking windows. Saying things, he wasn't doing it sneakily. He'd be like, oh, you know, you should lock these windows. I hope you lock them as you're getting ready to lock up these. You should lock these doors. And it just gave her an uneasy feeling. And he left. But as soon as he left, she locked the front door and she called 911. And she asked for an officer to be dispatched. When she hung up from the dispatcher, she called a coworker and said, hey, this guy, you know, he looked like this, he came in, I just feel uneasy. And then she heard glass breaking. So she ran into a closet and she tried to hide. Meanwhile, officers are coming and we all can have the joke about y'all always go slow till you're trying to get a donut. You go fast for the donut shop, but as for cars, you go slow. We hear that joke all the time. But as the officer's coming, this guy runs through the house, he finds her He pulls her out of the closet. She is on the phone with her coworker. So now they're getting floods of calls from her coworkers, people in the office. And he tries to sexually assault her. Needless to say, she's fighting, kicking, whole 9 yards. And then they say something generic like he performs a lewd act. So I don't know if he just pulled his pants down or whatever he did was something with a sexual connotation. And then the officers arrived. And he was arrested because he was still on scene. They had a fight with him. I think they might have had to tase him, but then he was arrested. So because she had enough awareness to think what he's doing is not helpful, it's creepy, and paid attention, and she called 911. That gave the officers a head start to start coming. And then, of course, when all of her coworkers are calling saying, hey, this is going on, then they come lights and siren, and he was apprehended. So the big thing for that is you really need to pay attention and see cues about what is going on. Oh, they're gonna come get you to play it for me? Thank you. I'm gonna get some assistance.
And there was a video on the previous.
Yeah, the previous
way.
If I can go back, I couldn't get that video to play.
So we can make it a lot
Already there.
Okay, yeah, you could. So while she does with that, so for me, the moral of that story is that you have to be aware, because for most people, at the end of your showings. Okay, so. And if we can't play it, I kind of described it, but I don't know why I won't let it. There we go.
There you go.
Technology's trying to keep us from being great.
Well, it will keep me from being great. Because I am not the one. I hide behind my age, but it's like I couldn't do it. Great. Is this good?
Right, she is.
Wait, don't leave. Can we hear you? There you go. So listen.
Officer Lauren Martinez joins us in studio with what happened to this realtor. Jacqueline, police say the suspect came inside the model home and filled out an interest card under a fake name. The agent noticed he was acting suspicious and made her feel uncomfortable. She followed those instincts, and experts in the real estate community say she did everything right.
Sense of gratitude that this agent, she was so in tune with what was going on around her.
On Wednesday afternoon, a local real estate agent was attacked after showing a model home. Las Vegas police did not disclose the location to help protect the victim's identity. Police arrested the suspect, Richie Cervantes. He faces several charges, including attempted sexual assault. Police report recounts what happened. A real estate agent noticed Cervantes was acting suspicious. He unlocked several windows and eventually left. The agent called 911 to report his suspicious behavior. She then locked the front door and windows and called a coworker. While she was on the phone with her coworker, Cervantes returned. He broke a window. The real estate agent hid in a closet. The police report says Cervantes dragged her out of the closet and she fought to try and free herself. He made threatening comments before performing a lewd act.
I think she is incredible, and we can all learn from her, and my heart is with her right now.
Carl Carter's mom, Beverly, was a real estate broker. In 2014, she was kidnapped and murdered by a man and woman posing to be clients. He created the nonprofit Beverly Carter Foundation to raise awareness of real estate agent safety.
You do much like what this precious agent did, and that was pay attention to surroundings, not camping out, in a spot of the house where you can't see what's going on, but you're facing your cell phone.
At Coldwell Banker Premier Realty, agents are asked to bring clients into the office to register before they can show them around a house.
Always be aware of your surroundings and have an exit strategy. So if you can't get to the front door, how do you get to the back door, or what's the quickest way to get to the street? Don't park in the driveway because somebody can walk you in. Always make sure that your cell phone is fully charged. Thank goodness that she listened to her gut instinct, because if she had not taken action when she did and made the phone calls that she did, the police may not have arrived in time.
Now, the report said police used a sledgehammer to bust open the front door and took the suspect into custody. Fox 5 spoke with the family of the agent. They tell us she is doing really good tonight. In the studio, Laura Martinez, Fox 5 News Local, Las Vegas.
According to court records, Cervantes is being held without bail. The police say they are looking for any additional victims tonight at Cervantes.
Okay, so there you go. You have to pay attention, okay? This property manager, he got robbed and beaten, and that is the back of his head. He was showing an apartment, and he turned his back to open a door to show someone through the apartment, and they struck him in the head with an object. He was ambushed while he was showing a rental property. So that's the number one thing that people get from that is don't let the people that you're dealing with get behind you. Okay, you don't really think about that. So other things we have, real estate agent uses self-defense training to escape assault. Realtor used a code word to tip off a coworker about being sexually assaulted. You actually have a safety pledge on your National Realtors Association website. And that is they have a little section of it that is dedicated to giving you some tips and some things that are going on nationally that you may not hear about, and then a pledge that is on that website for you to see. All right, some things you can do if you're going to be out showing houses, selling houses, this kind of thing, the thing that you do, meeting strangers, because that's what you do for fun, right? Sounds nefarious when you say, what do you do for dinner? Go out and meet strangers. Get money. Not meet strangers. Arrive early and check for signs of forced entry. Do a perimeter check around the house. Do it the day before, do it a couple of hours before, it doesn't matter. Walk around the house and don't be surprised by anything you see while you're showing it, okay? Walk around the outside of it first, because people who are trying to set you up may come and break in some other direction, knowing that you're gonna just come through the front door. Someone could be in there hiding, they're gonna have somebody come in while they have you at one part of the residence. So arrive early and check for signs. If you see something suspicious, call the police department. Don't go in, don't do the scary movie and go in and check yourself while everybody else is sitting there yelling, don't go in there. Familiarize yourself with the property prior to your appointment date and time. Go inside of it a couple of 3 times. See if there are things you think you want to change, things that you don't want to be the way they are. You know, are all the blinds closed? Go in the day before, you know, that morning and open them all. You know, don't have the home that, like I said, you can't be surprised about what you find in it when you have someone with you, okay? Arrange to meet the renter buyer at your main office to complete paperwork and obtain valid identification. People who are really in the market to do business have valid driver's licenses. They have a house that license belongs to. They have bank accounts and numbers. If something makes your bell go off, I don't care if you're trying to sell the $1.2 million house. You just, I know, you're thinking, but it's $1.2 million, you know what that commission is? I'm just saying, okay? Notify your coworkers of your appointment and a description of the renter or the buyer. Now, I also understand from doing these talks that sometimes you all are protective of your information, of things that you're doing, because you're in a competitive field. But there's not that much competition in the world, in my opinion, about your safety, that if you can't share where you're going and what you're doing with at least an office OA, office assistant, or one of your best buddies in the office kind of thing, then you're probably doing stuff that's really, really dangerous to you, okay? So be careful about it. Activate some type of buddy system. Have a coworker record a description of the vehicles associated with that person. When you're leaving, now this is my big thing. Don't let folk ride with you that you don't know. If you're not selling to your uncle or your grandmama or your cousin or your nephew or your niece, everybody else needs to be in their own vehicle. They can follow you. Folk who say, I need to ride with you, I came on the bus, I don't have a vehicle, Okay. No shade on people who don't drive, but they need to arrange another way to get to where you're trying to take them, okay? Somebody should look and see you leave and see what left behind you. Get accustomed to looking at license plates and writing them down. Don't get me wrong, nefarious people switch plates, but give us something to go on. I was an officer for 21 years. I'm not a cop person as far as cars. I don't know a Mercedes from a Mitsubishi until I see the emblem or I see the name on it. But I know things like 4 doors versus 2 doors, convertible tops versus hard tops, 2 headlights versus 4, 2 tailpipes in the back versus 1. And then there's some experts back there who will say, well, if you saw a black Ford that had 2 tailpipes, it's this kind of car. I don't know what kind of car. I may not get the make of it, but I'll get the model. Okay, so start doing things like that, noticing cars, okay? Engage in small talk with people to elicit background information. We did some small talk, or that's what I called myself doing. Told you a bunch of things about myself just in the first few minutes of the presentation about where I was from and where I grew up and where I was a cop. You know some stuff. People tend to feel small talk with real facts because you're not interrogating them. So there's no need to lie. So when you see people, you're gonna take them out. You from Fayetteville, if they're from here, they'll say, yeah, I grew up, I went to E.E. Smith. It'll just fly out of their mouth. As opposed to, no, I'm not from here. Now, most people will tell you where they're from. It should raise a flag for you if they don't. Okay, people who are hiding things hide everything. All right, so engage in small talk. Run background checks on new clients. I don't care how much money they say they have. Run a background check. If you really want to know what they're like, find them on social media accounts. Everybody puts their real stuff on Facebook, even the real fake stuff. So the guy who's trying to buy $1 million house from you is putting up stuff on Facebook that makes it look like he got $1 million. But if you see his $1 million is all cash and he's posing like the, you know, it might not be the money you want to chase. Okay? Make contact records and calendars detailed. Like I said, you all are in a business that I know you kind of keep your prospects and your stuff close to your breast. But if something happens, I need to be able to look in it. A police officer, someone needs to be able to look at what you left behind and know where you were going, who was the last person that you had contact with. Okay? Consider using some type of shareable calendar in your office so that we can at least know where your appointment was. Okay?
Sure, we
Yes.
do have an app that we have access to.
More.
Do you use it? Do you keep it up?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Cool. That is a good thing then. If you do, that is a really good thing. I'm bad about calendars. You have to ask me some other kind. I'm old fashioned. That stuff online, I don't. So help the people like me that aren't good at using it. Help them get their stuff in there, okay? Use features on your phone such as Life 360 or Find My Phone when you're in the field. Turn it on. And if somebody snatches you, drop it.
Yeah.
Try to leave it. Don't let them get a hold of it because they'll probably try to turn stuff off. Utilize guest registers when people come into the office that require full name, address, phone number, and vehicle information.
Yeah.
People who don't have a problem, people who aren't underhanded, don't mind giving you that information. Okay? Try to show your properties before dark. Make sure you charge your cell phones before showings. Don't have your phone go dead in the middle of the showing. Out in Eastover somewhere.
That's dangerous.
In and of itself. For your open house events, show your properties before dark. Turn on lots of lights, even in the daytime. Turn on everything. Turn on all the pretty chandeliers and show the lady of the house how pretty it is and tell her to imagine what it'll look like when it's dark, okay? Leave the drapes and the blinds open. You all sitting here and I know you're trying to keep it cool, but when I walked in, I was like, why are the blinds closed? That's just a thing for me. I have a thing about the blinds. Leave all your inner doors ajar, fully open. So that's that thing about pre-planning. Go before you go. Open all the closets and everything. You're gonna show them in there. And then when you walk in and they're closed, that's a sign. That's a problem. Okay, you know you left them open and now one's closed. There's somebody hiding in there. I mean, the wind might have blown it, but let's just be careful, okay? Always have your clients walk in front of you, man or woman. We're in the South. Men will say it all the time. Even when I was in full uniform with a gun and all that other stuff, I'd go to someone's house and they'd be like, please, after you. I'm a cop. No, sir, not get behind me after you. I appreciate your chivalry, but thank you very much. Okay, always. And I mean, I was a female. That's what they did. They'd always, you know, my mama raised me. Okay, well, I bless your mama, but you. Pre-planned escape routes. Go look in there and figure out, what if this happened and I'm in the kitchen? Where is the nearest door? Is it a patio? Is it a sliding door? Is it the back door? Do I go back out the front? Figure out in your head, just think about it for a second. Don't worry yourself into a frenzy. Where would I run if I needed to run? Okay. Inform and invite neighbors to open houses. So what if they own the house next door? They have friends of a friend of a friend. Let them know. Let them come over. Let them eat your free cookies. I mean, that's a way to get free advertising. Have the neighbors come over. Okay. Never ever list or describe a property as vacant. That word, for some reason, has a negative connotation to it, and it attracts negative-minded people. It can be available, it can be ready for move-in, it can be a whole bunch of other things, but try not to use the term vacant. It just has a negative, kind of dark connotation
It's
to it.
difficult to get around in a way that MLS broadcast to other services.
Yeah.
I know.
It's difficult.
Well, you know,
But
change
as
starts.
But as far as writing an ad or something,
Right.
you know, we can leave it out of that.
Yes.
Where we can control things.
Yes, and that's why I said it starts somewhere. So you start controlling it in little pockets, and then maybe the big picture will get out about it. But vacant properties, that's just that term. It means other things. Okay, everybody look at that for 10 seconds. Look at everything, look at everything, look at everything, look at everything. Close your eyes. How many people saw an address? Tell me what it was, and I think you're smart. Burn Drive. Okay. What other signs did you see? Money bag, yeah. You saw the money. Saw a pistol. Okay. Neighborhood watch sign, yeah. Nobody saw the watch for motorcycle. I ride a motorcycle, that's the only reason why I threw that in there. Okay, I watch for bikes, watch for bikes. A lot of times we scan stuff, we see things in big clumps, and if it doesn't attract our attention as out of place, then we don't see it. Okay, so those who are on Zoom, I know you can't, I don't think you can participate and talk, but those in the room. So I've been standing in front of you for about 25 minutes. Close your eyes, don't cheat. Everybody close your eyes. I won't touch you, I won't let anybody else touch you. All right, what color is my shirt? Blue. Okay, light or dark?
Light.
What color are my pants?
Dark blue.
Dark blue, okay. What color are my shoes?
Black.
Okay. What color are my eyes? Light brown? Don't know. Glasses or no?
Yeah.
What color?
Brown.
Okay. Tortoise, okay. What color is my hair?
Brown.
Reddish brown.
Blonde brown.
Okay, blonde brown. Gentlemen, answer. Ladies, don't help the gentlemen. Gentlemen, and yell it out. I don't have a weapon. The weapon's in the car. How much do I weigh? You gotta tell the officer who just attacked you and took your money. How much do I weigh? Gentlemen, spit it out. Come on. 130. Girls are laughing. Gentlemen, don't help the ladies. Ladies, how tall am I?
5'6".
5'5", 5'6", 5'4". Okay, 2 inches, 5'4" to 5'6". All right. Left-handed or right-handed?
Right.
Y'all haven't seen me write a thing. You see me hold the thing. Well, okay, watch?
Yes.
What other jewelry? What's my ring look like? What's my ring look like? What color?
It's silver.
Silver, I don't know, you tell me. I'm sorry. Silver ring. Where am I from?
Seattle, Washington.
Okay, any other jewelry?
No.
None?
No.
Okay, open your eyes. Look at me.
Have no ring.
Have no ring.
Yeah.
Have no ring. I don't wear it because people say weird things to you when you're a cop and you're married. They say stuff like, I'm gonna get your family. And then you be like, I don't know. So I don't wear a jewelry. I don't wear my rings. I wear a watch because I try not to be late for stuff. Okay. Why did you think I was right-handed?
This is the way you
Move it.
Love that. So for me, she left it on that side. I didn't want to mess with it, so I figured out how to do it. So the belief is that you wear your watch on the opposite hand from your dominant hand. Unless you're confused like me, which about 40% of the population is. So I'm ambidextrous. I can't write with both hands
Yeah.
because they switched me over. But truth be told, my left hand is my dominant hand. I eat with it, I play pool with it, I catch with it, you know, so some things I do left-handed, I actually write right-handed. I shoot a handgun right-handed, but I shoot a shotgun lefty. So it just depends, yeah, my dominant eye is on the other side, so it just depends. So for me, if the officer asks you what hand a person is, there's only two things that a person does with their dominant hand predominantly. Hold weapons. A left-handed person will never put a gun in their right hand if they want to shoot it accurately. So if you see somebody hold a weapon in a hand, you can pretty much say that's their dominant hand. And if you actually see them right. So when you're seeing people sign in, when you're going to do these lists, I said, notice which hand. That's their dominant hand. People sign their name and write with their dominant hands. Mine is dominant for writing and for shooting a handgun. Okay, so that's how you can tell, but pay attention to things around you. So I'm going to tell the truth. I got up and weighed myself this morning because I wanted to see how far off you guys are going to be. Men are horrible at women's weight because every female in your life, from your mother to your grandmother to your significant other to just your sisters and say, does this make me look fat? And you are programmed to say it does not. No. Oh, or you're fat, you're PHAT fat. That's how I'm trying to get out trouble. I am 5'5". This morning I got up and I weighed 158 pounds and I'm mad about it. Cause 5'5" and 158, when I step up on the Wii, y'all don't play Wii anymore, but I still do it. It goes, obese. Just to let you know. Alright, it might be on the low end of it, but according to my Wii, I am obese. Alright, so a $130 is 28 pounds too little. Doesn't do anything except make other officers, males, look for skinny girls. The female officers gonna know. They're gonna be like, I bet she weighed about 170, 180. But, right. Okay, so the things I tell women to hone you better at height. We do height and distance horribly. Men know it because they do football. They know what 5 yards looks like. We don't pay attention to that. I do it by length of cars because I'm a girl. I was bad at distance too. The average mid-size sedan is 21 feet long, approximately. So when I try to do distance, I say, how many Fords can I put in that distance that I'm trying to describe? So I can tell you in feet. If I can fit 3 cars in there, then that's about 60 feet. That's what I say to myself. I don't do yards very well either because I don't play football. But men do distance well. They do a lot of stuff with distance, okay? Women, we're bad at height because everyone's taller than us. So everyone looks tall. When stress kicks in, they look even taller, okay? But the average male in the United States is only like 5'10". Nobody, they're not 6 foot tall. When I see extremely tall people, I don't do it with extremely challenged people, but when I see extremely tall people, they're used to it. I just walk up to them and go 6'8", and they'll be like 6'9". 6'7", and then I just practice. When I go in stores like 7-Eleven or the Circle K's, they all have graduated markers, and I watch people going out, and I get better at heights. I just do it. I'm nosy. I'm a cop by nature. But for you who go in stores and get you something to drink and get your snacks because you're out with strangers and stuff, start practicing doing things like that. Get better at it. Get better at it. Gentlemen, you will always be bad at kissing weight. It's just.
Perhaps we were trying to be nice.
You were, which is why I gave you the disclaimer that my weapon was in the car. I said, so you weren't under any duress to be nice. You could have tried to be correct, but you can't even override it. Even when you know you have no consequence, you could have called me fat. There's no consequence
There
to
is
your
a
life.
consequence.
Not to me.
There is.
Not me doing anything to you.
I get home, see what you did something.
Fayetteville Police Department, help us help you. Most of the time when you call 911 for assistance, your complaint to us is, why do they ask a million questions? Just come. They ask 1,000 questions, just come. Two things. As soon as they recognize that you have an ongoing emergency, officers are dispatched. Call taker is one person, dispatcher is another. Call taker gets it and you're hysterical on the line and she's got to calm you down, but she can at least get your location out of you and say what's wrong and start someone, they start coming. Then she's typing stuff, trying to send it over to the dispatch screen to update the officers. So height, weight, clothing, eyes, about a person, things that they're going to ask you about, okay? Glasses, hair, all of that, they're going to ask you. Try to remember it, try to calmly give that information. Vehicles, 1-door, 2-door, colors, rust spots, what type of tag, what state was the tag. Things about the vehicle that make it stand out, tinted windows, extra dark tinted windows, convertibles. They can't change stuff like that about a vehicle, okay? They're asking you a million questions, but officers are coming. So always understand that. And what you really want to do is give them the information, because the person who attacked, harmed, whatever they did, robbed, left in the thing that you're describing for us. If I've got 5 officers coming and that vehicle passes one of them, he's gonna do the Eddie Murphy Keystone Cops and turn around and go try to catch the vehicle. So the sooner he knows what the vehicle was, the better. Okay, so they're gonna ask you a million questions. Answer them to the best of your ability. Okay, don't guess. You really thought you saw a ring, say that, but don't guess, okay? Suspicious activity, anything you do to avoid being clearly observed is suspicious. The average person doesn't care about you looking at him. If they're not one of those little young, what you looking at me like that for? People start to stare when they're not foolish, but the average person doesn't care about being observed. They don't care, okay? Any observed behavior could indicate an individual may be involved in criminal activity or may be about to commit a crime. That guy right there that's down on that car messing with the lock, you don't know, maybe it's his car, maybe he broke his key off and trying to get it out. But just in case it isn't, just call 911. You don't have to stay, you don't have to give your name. The person whose car that is, if it's not his, would appreciate you doing it. Okay? You don't even have to go, hey, what you doing? I'm a cop and I don't ask that. Okay? Wander around aimlessly. You show in a house when you seen that boy walk past that house 8 times and he hasn't come in yet, or he had, is he looking in trash cans? What is he doing? Why is he doing it? He's not walking a dog. He's not going up to any other house. That's somebody usually trying to get their nerve up to do whatever it is that they're thinking they want to do. Okay, make a couple of dry runs past to see if you're paying attention. That's why in stores, if you notice it now, when you walk into the sheets or they greet you, because we teach that. Let somebody know that you saw them. Hi, welcome to Circle K.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome.
That's good.
They say it a bazillion times. Now, what I have to get the young ladies accustomed to, at least in my area, is I walk and see if they do it. They say it, they don't even look up.
Yeah.
Now they just say it because they have to. They've been doing it so long. So somebody walks in, they're ringing me up, they're like, welcome to Circle K.
Yeah.
Because the door buzzed or whatever, but they never even looked at the person who walked in. And then when they see the person get ready to run out with 2 cases of beer, they haven't looked at them, so they can't give me a description. They just see their beer going out the door. All right, because repetition makes you complacent.
Sure.
Right. People who enter restricted or unauthorized areas, even under the pretense of, oh, my bad, I'm lost. So in my Circle K's, the people who shoplift go in the cooler where it says employees only. Okay. Attempt to open multiple doors, attempt to open vehicle doors. You see them walking in the mall, you see them walking in the neighborhood, and you realize they've been in 5 driveways. Call that in, okay? Community watches are actually good. to get to know if there's one in the neighborhood. Number one, it's a selling point if you are selling. Number two, if you see in a neighborhood that you're gonna try to sell a home in, that it says this is a neighborhood watch group, that's how you can get out and meet neighbors too. You see someone in their yard, stop and ask them, is your community watch active? Do you know who your coordinator is? And they'll tell you, oh yeah, that's Mr. John, he lives over there off of this street. Get to know him. Tell him, I wanna tell people that you have this group, give me some information about it. It's it's a point that I can make to my potential buyers. This is somebody that when you go on vacation, you can notify that group. They have an officer or a specialist you can notify. We do house security checks for people when they're out on vacation. If you live in the city limits of Fayetteville. Okay, you call us and tell us when you're leaving and when you're returning, and we will randomly check your house, physically check your house. They have to get out of their car and walk around the perimeter of your house and check all your windows and check all your doors. If you have a ring doorbell, you can ask that we put a note, tell them ring the doorbell and activate it for the homeowner, and they watch people go around their house. And then they send me little, oh my God, I love them, they were great, thank you. So those are things that you get to know by knowing if there's a community watch in that area, okay?
It only happens if you have a community watch.
No, if you live in the city limits.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just saying all the community watch people know, because they let each other know, okay? Community watch, partnership to reduce crime, okay? A way to establish ownership of the community, have new people that you're selling houses to get on that bandwagon, okay? Increase communication between them, they have next door applications, they have apps that they share information with, okay? Safe way to get with the police department and express concerns about the area. I always tell realtors that I'm friends with, come to a watch meeting if you got a house in that area, because that's how you find out what's going on. If you got a house that you're having a hard time moving, people hear stuff that you don't hear. So go to a community watch meeting if they got one, and you'll find out what's going on. Maybe there's a way you can address it or a way that you can get it changed, okay? So then we give people education on how to report stuff. So we teach you how to obtain tags, how to look at the vehicles, how to look at the suspects, like the little exercise we just did, okay? It's not a vigilante group. It's not a political group. You can't take the law into your own hands. Don't pursue criminals yourself. Don't be biased or discriminatory based on income or race or sex or whatever you think is different about you, okay? And we try to teach community members that too. All right, any questions? That is my contact information. I am in Central District. The city is divided into 3 districts, Campbellton, Central, and Cross Creek. But you can take my name and my number if you have a property that you want to run a history on to see how many times we got called there, to see if there's anything nefarious that happened there. Yeah, we'll do it if you ask us nicely.
Sharon,
Yes.
what's the current best way for us to start applying? Now they can research crime and.
Call a crime prevention specialist. So I have people all the time, they'll call and say, my daughter's gonna go to college at Fayetteville State, and I was thinking I found this house for rent at this address. We will run a criminal history, not a criminal history check on the house. We will run a calls for service for the area. And tell them, we've had this many calls in this area in this time frame. We try to do them for a calendar month or a calendar quarter. We'll run them so you can see the types of calls that come there. And now, so I never tell people, oh, that's a bad side of town, or that's the good side of town. That's not what we do, because what I consider good might not be good to somebody else. And what I consider bad might be a space that they would love to live in. So we don't label it, but I give them the documentation, the data, and then they make a decision themselves. Now, me being a mom, especially if I get parents calling about their youngins, I will say, is she gonna be living alone, or is it a she, is it a he? And I will express my opinion about that baby needs some roommates, or that baby, if she gonna be walking, she needs to be on the other side of campus and some other rentals, blah, blah, blah. I'll do that. But we don't label it good, bad, or that kind of thing.
There's a link to you. You can put an address in, you'll see crime stats.
Yes, on the portal, on the Fayetteville Police Department's portal. And I think Cumberland County has one too, if the property is outside of the city limits. Yes, sir.
We lost our community watch group because the person that was our leader was really older than me. I'm old, but she was really old. And she just quit. She said, I can't do it anymore. And nobody else ever stepped up. And it kind of fell apart, but back when we used to have it monthly, we used to love it because every month, somebody came from the fire department, somebody came from the police department.
Still do it.
And they would have different topics, but one thing they gave us every month was what you're talking about, that crime report thing. They would hand it out to everybody, and you could see everything from traffic stops for speeding, all the way to
Burglaries,
everything.
yes,
And
vehicle prowls, because that's the big crime in the city right now. So now let me ask you this, what neighborhood was that?
Lafayette Village.
Oh, yeah, so that's in Central District. Get with me after, I got a business card. Because I can get you, we can get an email tree going, and even if you don't have a formal community watch, if there's about 10, 15, 20 people who wanna know that, we can get an email tree, we just run them and send them out to you via email, still get to look at it. We can figure it out.
Because there's still some of the old group I run
Sure,
into
you-
once in a while, and they'll say, when are we gonna get another group going?
Contact me, we'll figure out how to get you one started if you think you've got people interested in doing it, okay? Yes. Any other questions?
No.
Are we gonna have, can you just send a presentation to them so they can have their presentation?
This one, send it to who?
Was it Emily?
Oh, to you, sure, I'll share it.
Yeah.
I'll share it. The stuff I stole, you can't. All the other stuff's just comments. No, that's good. Yeah, oh, did she? She recorded it? Okay, because I was gonna say, otherwise I'd be more than happy. You know, you.
Wow.
Well, thank you very much for your attention. I appreciate it. And I think that was it. There you go.
Thanks, Sharon, I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
I'm looking to see, I don't know if I can bring back the other to see, does anyone know how to make the other come back, just so I can see if there's anything.
Wow.
Yeah, I would go, I drive out, I've been to Key West.
Oh, wow.
I've been to Seattle on it. No,
That's
I used to do that years ago, I used to love motorcycle trips.
Really?
Yeah.
I ride long distance.
Yeah. I used to have a group of.
Well, we are good then, so thank you guys very much, I'm gonna go ahead and end this here. Did you have something, Angie?
I had breakfast meeting this morning and not a lot of people ate anything, so there's stuff in the kitchen if y'all wanna nibble on it.
Sounds wonderful, thank you, ma'am, appreciate it. Bye.